that. It would be December.
Welcome, everyone. It's Blueprint Thursdays. I think that's what we're going to call the show. We're going to call the Thursday TradersPost Show Blueprint. Yeah, it's pretty
Let's give
good.
you the blueprint for how to automate your trading strategies. I love the name. Creative concept there, Tom.
I don't want anyone to be too scared. I was going to call it Codex and then have a bunch of code within the logo and all that. But I was like, okay.
Oh, no. Everybody's rolling their eyes already. They're like, no, stop being too nerdy. My brain hurts.
What would be great about these is that we're always going to be posting these clips as their own standalone videos on the channel. This one today is going to be about building a crypto screener, although it could be a screener for any asset that you like, because it occurs to us that not everyone knows that you can monitor multiple different assets within TradingView at the same time, usually up to time for any given indicator, and then send signals off. And you could have you could be like me and have dozens to, frankly, hundreds of signals that get sent in order to buy and sell on different assets with the same type of conditions. So I thought it might be fun to walk through that.
Yeah, I think it gave me some ideas for sure, Tom. I've been looking for different ways in which I can do more pairs trading in TradingView, and I know we've kind of discussed that a little bit. But being able to integrate both or two different assets, or even multiple assets together, measure all of them simultaneously, and decide whether you'd want to be long one and short the other, is obviously a pretty interesting approach on TradingView. Since TradingView is sort of a single symbol at a time platform, this is a really cool way to look at multiple symbols at the same time, measure their correlation, and really kind of like systematize a diversified approach to trading sort of a basket of assets. So this is a cool glimpse into how that might be done.
What's cool about this too is that building it solely on TradingView, there's no way to really backtest any performance, right? If you're trading 40 different tickers at the same time over a period of a month, you can't really see or you can't see at all within the backtester what the results are. But setting it to a platform like TradersPost, paper trading that information, or have a forward testing on a live account can be very useful to find out, hey, does it make sense to trade these 20 assets at once? So pretty excited about that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's go ahead and start here. I'm going to be, look, we're on a tightrope here. We're doing this live. We're doing it live. We want to see what it looks like. I want you to see the hurdles, the ins and outs about how to do this in PineScript. And so Mike will be my Sherpa. If he sees that I'm going off in the wrong direction, he'll pull me back.
I'll get you to the top of Everest.
Excellent. All right, so here we start off. I'm going to assume some slight basic knowledge of PineScript. This is not where we're going to do a 101 in PineScript, but just keep in mind, I'm sure people are going to be like, okay, so at the end of this, Tom, can you just give me the script that you made and I'll just modify that? Yeah, okay, I'll post the script and you guys can just use it from there.
But it's modify to your heart's content, for sure.
Exactly. Useful to have a walkthrough here. So let's just call this crypto. You can see my screen. Yeah, crypto screener. And since we always need, right now we're just building out the script, but we're going to need something. We always need a plot on the chart so that we can see something. All right, so here we can save it. We're going to add it to the chart, and we're not going to see anything. Right, so our screener's here. Actually, let's overlay it. Perfect. So we have this added to the chart, but there's nothing showing on our chart. We're going to be adding a table over here, essentially a dashboard that'll show 40 tickers, and I'll show you how you can actually have the script be able to access more than 40 tickers, not at the same time, but you'll be able to switch between different sets of symbols, and you will be able to see the ticker, the price, whether it's bullish or bearish. We'll just do a simple EMA cross in order to do that, and then see how we can build out the alerts to send alerts to TradersPost. So let's start with that.
Now, maybe as a quick little nuance here, I am seeing that you're using the Bitcoin index rather than an exchange-specific price of Bitcoin. And it's worth kind of pointing out that, one, we do support pure crypto exchanges on TradersPost. We've got Coinbase now, we've got Bybit, we've got Kraken, we've got Binance. We have two other regulated brokers, Tasty Trade and Alpaca, that offer crypto as well. But of course, as you know, one way you can get the exchange-specific cryptos is by putting in the exchange name and then a colon for the symbol in order to get all the pairs that are available on TradingView. So you could do Coinbase colon BTC, and you'd see the USD pair there from Coinbase. Same thing with Bybit and Kraken and so forth. I think for the most part, they cover a large majority of the crypto exchanges on here. But it's worth pointing out that obviously the prices can vary in a very small amount between exchanges, between crypto exchanges.
The reason I like to use the index one is that I want to have a chart that basically when we're dealing with alerts, I want there always to be an order. I want as many updates as possible in a bar, and for some coins, some exchanges or whatever, you might have periods where there's no trades that's happening. So I want the most active asset, and then I know my signals are going to be sent off reliably.
Yep, that makes sense.
So here I'm just going to put up a quick table over here. We want this to be all right. So I just have my shortcuts here in order to get colors and different things that I want within the chart. Here I'm setting up the first row. So I want this to be so I'm doing the table ID, setting up the table. We're going to place it in the middle. I want the column to be called symbols. I need the text color here to be text, and background color. Background color we use here is one I use all the time. So if I say that, I should see that in the middle of my screen. You'll see here symbols that's appearing. Actually, let me just put that at the top right. Let's do middle right. Might be easier for people to see.
Oh, vertically aligned. Gotcha.
You prefer it over here? Actually, I guess it makes more sense to put it in the middle.
No, I just didn't realize that you could do middle center, meaning it's vertically aligned.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked where you had it.
The reason why I am doing it, the reason why I have a var table variable over here is because my table is only ever going to appear on the last bar. So in order to make the script less memory intensive, you do if bar state is last, so that way this only runs on the last bar on the chart, and then you save yourself some memory. Okay, so that's there. We're going to want also
easy thing to forget, memory management in general in PineScript.
Correct. We'll do price. We'll put that one column over. We're not going to have a column for the trend because we're going to color the cell green or red if we're bullish or bearish. Now, just as a general thing, we are going to be using an EMA. So let's just do EMA on the chart. We'll give it a length. Let's go 21. And then our EMA. Let's grab our source. And then this we could plot on the chart. So we have our EMA here. Let's make a little bit longer. Let's do 50. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to we have to do two things right now. We have to get the list of all the tokens that we want to basically loop through in order to be able to check where the price is relative to the EMA on each one of those charts. We're just going to do it simply right now with the chart that we're on, just so we can see what that process is like. So let me just clean this up a little bit. And here we're going to have our EMA. And then our dashboard. Okay, so normally what I would do is I would grab the information through, let's call it a Request.Security. So we're going to go and grab, we're going to act like we're going to grab, let's call it ETH. We'll grab the ETH price. So on Binance, I'm going to grab the ETH USDT P, the perpetual future for that. I want that to be on the current time frame that I'm on, and I'm going to be grabbing. So the close value will give me the price for the asset, but I also want to get the I want to get the EMA. So what I'll do here is that I'll wrap this EMA function into this EMA call into its own function. So technically, right now I have a function I'm calling FEMA that's acting the same as the regular EMA, except that I could pass this through. I could pass this through the expression here in my request.
In
Now I could always just
Request.Security.
one more time.
In Request.Security.
Correct. Now I could always just put in EMA like this if I wanted to, right? I could just put that there here. But let's say I wanted something more complicated. I wanted to do EMA crosses, or I wanted to check different structures or what have you. This might be more multi-line. And so this is how you would do it. And then I would return this EMA value. I could even be a little bit fancy and return the close and the EMA in a tuple. And then that way, this function will return all the information that I need from there.
Seems like you could just put the ta.ema on one line and it'll just return that value, right?
Well, not if I want to pass a tuple over here. So here I could pass more
if you want to pass the
information.
tuple, that makes sense, right?
Correct. Yeah.
But if you're
So
just
I could
returning
do
the
this
EMA,
instead.
you could just do ta.ema.
Exactly. In fact, I could even just do like this.
Right. That's what I was saying. Oh, even better.
I'll do it like this because people, if they're adding anything in, they're probably gonna want to have it in this format. And when you're looking through documentation, it generally shows it in this format. So I'll just leave it like
Sure.
that for now.
It's a little more readable that way, obviously. Putting it on one line is like trying to save white space more than making it readable. I'm not sure what the trade-off is.
That's right. So over here, it's returning that. If I were to just go ahead and plot the, let me get the plot again. If I were just to plot this like I was doing it before, it'll plot it, but I'll be plotting the EMA from, actually, I'll be plotting the EMA from the Ethereum. So let's not do that right now. So in this table, I want Ethereum to show here because that's the future that I'm dealing with, as well as the price. So I'll add one row below.
I'm curious, Tom, why you chose the perpetual futures for ETH USDT rather than the spot price.
I could choose a spot price. It's just easier when later on when we are going to be filtering for the tokens, it'll make more sense to filter for that because we'll only get the set that has USDT.P. It's just easier to make sure that we only get those tokens, but it could be any asset that's on the exchange.
Sure.
And personally, I'm always trading perpetual futures, so that's the way I think. So here for my first column, I'm going to want, let's leave it over here. I want to put the name of my asset. So here, what I can do is also return the name of my asset with siminfo.ticker. Let's go with ticker. And that way, the name of the asset that I've requested is returned to me in the variable, and I could go ahead and paste that in here. Let's go with text color, and then for the price, next column over. I can't return the price. This is going to give me a float value, so it's going to give me like an actual number. I need this to be a string, so string and put the price. I'm going to format this as a min tick so that I get the price as it appears, like over here with the decimal points. So this should give me, see no error. So I'm getting ETH over here with the price of ETH at the time. We can go ahead and just take a look at that so you can see it. So I have the same price there, right? 25.24, and it's updated there. Okay, fine, Tom. You show me that you can do that for one ticker, but I'm here for a screener. I get it. So let's kick this up a notch. So in the screener, I'm going to go ahead and I want to get, let's reset all this. I need an easy way that I can just go ahead and grab all the perpetual future tickers from Binance. So I can go into the crypto screener over here, and this would work the same if you could do a stock screener if you wanted to get a certain industry or whatever. We're going to use the crypto screener here. And what I'm going to do is reset all the filters, and I'm going to say that I want the exchange from Binance. So now it's showing me a list of 1,900 tokens from Binance. But I also want to get, I want to make sure that I'm getting the USDT pairs, perpetual futures. So I'm going to just filter here USDT.p, and then I'm going to have 302 matches that show up in this list. So these are all the tokens on Binance that are available in TradingView that are perpetual futures. And I'm going to just download that as a CSV. So since I get that as a CSV, oh, 1 second. Yeah, I get that as CSV here. When I open that, actually, let me do it a different way. Open. Okay, when I open that, I'm going to get all the columns that were in that table, but I don't need all of this, right? I only need the ticker names. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all these guys. Actually, I'm just going to copy this column, select everything, delete. I don't need you. And I don't need you guys. So I'm going to paste. These are all the tokens that were there. I don't need the title. I don't need this first row because I just need the tokens. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss this. I'm going to save this as CSV, and I'm going to toss this into Claude or OpenAI, whatever, in order to convert this into the format that I need for to be able to loop through them. Because I can't paste this easily within TradingView. So I'm going to export this as a CSV to my downloads folder. And then I'm going to head over to Claude. And well, I already did this before, so I'll just show it to you. But basically, I go into Claude. I tell it that I have that I need the following crypto tokens from this document split into an array, and I want the array to look like this. This is how I want the array to look like in my PineScript. I want it to be coin 1, and I'm going to do array from. If I do array from, it just lets me know I could put a series of tokens over here, and then TradingView will figure out what the type of variable I'm using. In this case, they're going to be strings. And I want, because I could only, every indicator could only access 40 external resources at a time in their script. So anything more than that, you're going to get an error that says you have too many Request.Security is happening, and it'll limit you to 40. And the reason I'm doing it this way is that I want to be able to have all 300 and whatever tokens within the script. And within the settings of my script, I can then switch between the subset of tokens that I want. That way, I can add this indicator to my chart multiple times in order to monitor every set of 40 for their conditions. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yep.
Perfect. So over here, I toss that CSV into Claude. I say that I want the format of the array to be like that, where I'll show you exactly what I have it look like. This is how I want the arrays. I want the first array to be 40 tokens that are listed in this order, another 40 this order, and so on and so forth until I get them all. And once it does that, let's go ahead and try it, see what it looks like. Thank you, AI. I remember having to copy and paste from my list and constantly make these arrays. It used to drive me crazy. And then I make a mistake, and I have the right quotation mark at the right spot. I'm missing a comma, and all kinds of errors. So here, it's just going to prepare this for us.
In theory, I believe the market cap data is in that screener from TradingView. You could also arrange these arrays by market cap in descending order, right?
In the screener, it doesn't show the market cap reliably. I don't know if it's just for Binance, but when I was looking for market cap before, it was just blank.
Even on the
Market cap is
spot?
blank. Oh, you know what? You're right. For spot, it probably will show it. Yeah, you're right. It did show it for that.
Got it. Oh, no, it looks like it's only on the USD pairs, not on the USDT pairs.
Oh, yes, that's right. It would only be on USD.
It's interesting that, oh, that's right. I think TradingView still has this overlap between Binance and Binance.us. So you're seeing Binance there, but they're really referring to Binance.us.
I don't know specifically.
Because, well, I don't think any USD pairs are traded on Binance.com.
That's right. No USD pairs are traded on Binance.com. Correct. All right. So over here, I have my my 8 arrays. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy all this. Toss that into. Let me get back to where it was. To my script. All right, we're there. I don't need all these different comments, so let's just remove them. All right, so I have my array over here, but I want to be able to select, to choose between these guys. So I'm going to set up a variable over here, a setting that says my sim list, and I want this to be an option between one of these 8. So let's default to 1 symbols list, and the options will be 1, 2, and so on. All right. And then here, my coin will actually be, I'll do a switch case. So basically, I set this up so that when I choose one of the symbol lists, it'll then load that series of 40, and that'll be the 40 that I'm working with. So let me just save this real quick so you can see. So now my list over here, I could choose 1 to 8, and then I know those are the tokens being dealt with. If I want to see what that looks like, I can just loop through it. And log each one. Yeah, that should be fine. And then in my Pine logs, this is the equivalent of console log on a on your browser. Here it's looping through all the tokens from 1000 bonk all the way down to AXL. But if I were to switch this to, let's say, number 4, it'll start with GOAT. And here we go, GOAT. So that way, if I were to add this this indicator to my chart multiple times by copying it and then pasting it, I could have different sets that are showing at any given time. Signals can show on whichever one I want. Great. So that's set up. Now I want to loop through those guys. And what I want to do is to basically use Request.Security to loop through each one of the items that I've chosen in order to pull the information that I want. Now, in order to make my life a little bit easier, later on when I'm managing, I'm going to use a user-defined type. Have you ever used UDTs, Mike, in TradingView?
Yep, I was using UDTs in the webhook library.
Perfect. So here I'm going to store the symbol. I'm going to store the price. What else do I want to store? I want to store the exchange. And I want to store the EMA. Perfect. So now when I loop through, I have to loop through all the time. I'm going to want to store this inside if its own array. So I'm going to create a new one from symbol. That's nothing inside of it, because I'm going to store all the values into one location so that I can loop through it later on. And then here is where I'm going to do my same Request.Security. I have here. Request.Security. Now, I could, while I'm doing this, populate the this user-defined type in here within the Request.Security, but you're going to run into some serious memory issues, because for some reason, well, for an understandable reason, if I pass a user-defined type through the Request.Security, it has to do a lot more processing to make sure that all the things are passed along, and it's much easier to grab the individual values and store them inside of that array afterwards. So in other words, here, once I pass my FEMA, in here, I'm passing back the name of the ticker. Well, actually, I don't even need to pass the name of the ticker anymore because I have it already. The name of the closing price as well as the EMA value. And this is going to return it over here. And then here, I could prepare my new symbol, which is expected in my 4 properties that I had before. I'm always going to use Binance for this one. My symbol will be already accessible over here from the coin, because that's the symbol is what's inside of my array list. So I pass it the symbol. I'm going to pass it the closing price. I'm going to pass it the EMA. Then when that's done, I'm going to take this variable and toss it into my array. So I'm storing it inside of the symbol array, so that later on, when I loop through on the table, I'm going to loop through all those guys to then output the information. You're going to see these yellow squiggly lines that show up underneath. It's going to tell you that it should be called on every bar for consistency. It's recommended to extract this from the scope. There's no real way around this for what we're trying to do, because we are trying to finagle 40 pieces of information into a script at any given time. So we're going to have to allow the warning. And just make sure this warning is fine. Oh, I'm going to use sim. So let me just call it.
Yeah, that's one of those squiggly line warnings that I tend to ignore.
Exactly.
If it lets me do
I
it,
used to
I'm
be
doing it.
right. I used to be so diligent about not doing that until I realized, hey, there's no way around it. So forget it. Until they tell me this is going to be deprecated in version 6, I'm going to keep on using it.
You're like, great, I'll just stay in version 5 then.
Exactly. All right. So here we have it set up. If we were to just quickly log this, so we can see what's actually being tossed into the array, we're going to log the, oops, mistake. Let's log the symbol, the close value, and the EMA. We'll pass those values, sim, close, EMA. And I should see in my logs, oh, I don't need this right now. Yes, this is the reason I'm doing this way. I should have brought this up before. So previously, you would have to have the previous versions of PineScript. You'd have to basically do this in a completely different way and have a Request.Security call for each specific one. But there's a new option called dynamic requests that allow you now to use basically a series of variables, or to do what we're doing, to not have that error anymore. So if you ever see that error that says, hey, you're not allowed to use that kind of variable inside of Request.Security, it's because you need the dynamic request set to true inside the indicator. So that's set up. If I were to take a look at the logs, I should see the name of the tokens, and then the closing value and the current EMA. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, I should have done this only on the last bar. Oh, well, it's happening anyway. All right, so there we are. So I know that this is going to be the information that's stored within my variable. Wait, I'm seeing the same number again and again. 1 second here. I'm not expecting to see that. Oh, right, because I didn't pass the actual. I passed ETH for each one. I'm supposed to pass the symbol. So we're going to use what's it called? Siminfo.ticker. I forget. 1 second. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Okay, that's fine. So we'll just do Binance. Plus symbol. All right, let's double check that. Riveting, Mike. I'm sure I'm being very riveting right now. This is the content I like seeing, though.
I'm all on board. This is really cool stuff. You're teaching me a couple techniques that I wasn't even aware of as well. I didn't know you could destructure the responsive Request.Security, for example. So that's a cool technique.
There's actually a function for that. I'm just forgetting what it is. It's actually not the right way of doing it. There's it'll be in Request.Security. So I'm actually supposed to build it in a different way. Where are you? Oh, that's what it is. Ticker dot new. So this is what I'm actually supposed to be using. I should do this the right way. So ticker dot new, and then I'm supposed to pass the prefix, which is Binance, the exchange, and then the actual symbol. Oh, it's supposed to be a simple string. That's why I'm doing it that way. Let's see if this works. No, it's not. I'm getting an error here because this is supposed to be a string, and I think it's going to say it's not a string.
Can you parse it to a string?
No, it has to be a simple string, so you can't go backwards.
Got it.
But this should work. So over here, let's just go ahead and load that. So yeah, you're safe. So let's say we were to take a look at Aave. The value you're looking for is 143.23, 141.23, and then here 141.36 because it just changed. So we are getting the right value over there, and I'm assuming the EMA is correct. I'm sure it's correct. So now that we know that our information is within our array, we can go ahead and start building out our dashboard. So we have our array here. And then in our dashboard, we'll loop through it for index sim and sim. So here we're going to want, it's always going to be between the first column and second column because we're assuming symbol and price, but we are going to increment the row. So here it'll be always 1 plus I here is the index. So when I'm doing a for loop for this array, there's two types of for loops you can do. There's the normal one you can do where it's just for. So you're saying for I equals a certain number all the way to a certain number. So here it'll loop from 0 to 9. You can do it this way. But one of the advantages of using the for in value for an array is that you can you're gonna have access to the value in the array without having to like call it again, and you have the index. So you have the index count and the symbol here.
Watch line 67 there. Your I turned into indicator. Yep, you got it.
Perfect. So here, and then instead of sim, it'll be because this is an object right now. So this is a user-defined type that we have here simmed. So I need to do dot sim here. So let's actually just call you s, and you'll be s dot sim. You'll see here that as I do s dot, I have access to all the properties that I've assigned to that user-defined type. And then I want that here as well. This is for the price. So let's do s dot. And so that should give us a list of all the symbols and the prices. Oh, that's text is too big. Let's just make it smaller. However long it's taking right now to load it because of the 40 tickers, if we had this, we didn't have bar state as last. This calculation would have to happen on every single bar, so it's much faster this way. All right, so it's a little bit cramped. I do have 40 over here. There's different ways we can go about it to have them like to have different rows and columns, but I don't want to go through all that at the moment. We don't have time. I just want to show that we are getting the tickers and the values. Perfect. Once we have that, then we just want to do our final step, where we want the and just for the sake of, so this looks a little bit better, let's just do, well, the U on the current chart, just for the sake of seeing it. Color orange, and then 2. So let me just hide this so we don't have to deal with that processing just yet. So here we want to, here I'm just showing the EMA that's on the actual, on our actual chart, because I want to show where we're going to set buy and sell signals. So what we're going to say here is that when we get a crossover, we're going to say when the price in here, we're going to say it's a buy if the price, let's do it this way, if the price is over the EMA and before the price was under the EMA, under or equal to EMA. The reason I'm doing it this way as opposed to using the crossover function, I believe if I use the crossover, I'm going to get an error because it'll say, let's see if you show up. Oh, no, not getting an error. All right, we can use that. So we're going to say that's a buy. We're going to say TA cross under as a sell. And then I'm going to pass these values in my tuple. Another reason why I like these tuples.
I guess one advantage of doing the greater than or equal to operation is that it could be relevant to the current bar if you needed it to be more real time, right?
That's right. I believe if I'm not mistaken, the crossover cross under waits for the bar to close.
Possibly. It might also still
Yeah.
be real time, but it is comparing to the previous bar in order to determine if a crossover or cross under took place.
Well, that's happening for these guys too. It's just that there are circumstances where it's not coming to mind at the moment where you'll get an error that says, "Hey, I need you." Oh, exactly. If this was in if this was in a if statement, then it'll give you an error.
Got it.
So I generally tend to just to avoid using it unless I'm outside of a local scope. But in any case, we're using it here. So over here, it's saying we can pass that. So let's just get buy, sell. And that way I can plot buys. Let's do it this way. Buy. I want this to be a label up. Location below. I want the color to be green. I want the offset to be 0. Text will say buy. And text color will be white. I'll do the same thing for sell. Red. And you'll be above bar and down. I'm going to get a bunch of signals right now. Oh, I have an error. Did I get you wrong? Plot shape by series style. Oh, I'm doing the label style. Label up. Shape up. Why are you taking so long to load? Let's see here. Shouldn't be this long.
Oh.
Let's close.
There it goes, but no symbols on the chart or no symbols in the table.
I removed the symbols just so we can see it on the chart first. So sell, buy, sell, buy. Okay, well, there's a bunch there. The OCD in me wants to go ahead and make them like pretty signals, but let's just leave it at that. We just want to know that the buys and sells are happening when they need to be. You guys can build your own 90% profit strategies on your own. But the idea here is that we're getting a buy and sell signal that are coming through here. So let's go back, and inside of our user defined type, we're going to add in a bool for buy, and we're going to add one for sell. And that way, when we're passing values over here, buy, sell, we can pass it in here as well. I shouldn't call them the same way, shouldn't I? Let's call it bullish or bearish. It doesn't like when you use the same variables from above. You don't like that either. Okay, let's do this instead. We'll call you underscore 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 underscore. Cheap way of making a variable unique.
Breaking out of the global scope problem.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So buy and sell. Okay, you get tossed in. We don't need to log you. So now over here in our table, what we can decide is if we're a buy, our background color, we can change that to, so if buy, then we want our background table to be green. If it's sell, then we want it to be bearish, and otherwise just be regular background color. So this is a ternary operator. If this is true, this will fire. If not, then this will fire, but this is its own condition. Then it'll be bearish. If it's not, then we'll just default to sell. Let's do the same thing for, we'll just use that for, let's put on the price instead. All right, let's see what this looks like. So now we should have our columns on the right, and then whichever ones are bullish will be. Oh, well, that'll just be for the crossover, won't it? We're gonna have that problem because we need it to be. We need the buy and sell to be persistent. Let me just double check one thing over here. Text. One thing I neglected to look at is that here it's only going to show buy and sell at the time that that's happening, but we want it to be persistent. So let's just go ahead and make these variables buy false or sell false. I guess it doesn't matter. Let's just see what this looks like. I just need to prove that this works, Mike. I don't have to actually make it amazing.
I was having a hard time calculating whether that var would be included in the loop outside of that function.
Well, no, it'll only be within the function, but that's all I need it to be. I only need to keep track when it's within its own function.
Why would it change within that function, though?
Oh, because then I would have another logic that would undo it. That when the sell happens, turn the buy into false. And when
I see. Okay.
Switch back and forth. All right, so let's see here. Okay, we're getting one here that is green. Let's just play bar replay so we can see what it might look like. While I'm playing this in bar replay, we should see a bunch of them turn green and red. Oh, here I'm getting the memory issue because I got too many in there. Let's switch to number 8, see if that makes a difference. Okay, so you see some of them are turning green, red, green, red, green, red. So then we know that it's firing buy and sell at those given times.
Can you see it a few more times? There's one. Okay. So like they're down a little bit to the right. We saw Zen there, down YFI, XMR. Yeah, looking good. Nice.
All right. So then the last thing we want is to send the alert to TradersPost. So
And so to
sorry, go ahead.
clarify here, like what we've done is we've constructed a chart on just Bitcoin, but as we increment in time, as time continues, you're running the same exact logic on all these pairs, depending on which ones you've selected of the 1 through 8. And so those signals are now available on these other pairs at the same time, which means you could run this strategy with just the Bitcoin chart and run an alert for multiple pairs at the same time without needing to have all these charts independently opened with an alert assigned to each one. Am I gathering that correctly?
Exactly. So
Cool.
one specific one. So what we'll do here is that in this this loop where we're going through all the different coins, grabbing the information, and here we know if it's a buy or sell. We'll say that if it's a buy, we want to send an alert that is we just want to send that alert message. What we're going to do is we'll use the what's the best way of going about this? So use our library. And what about the library that I made the other day? Let's go ahead with that. Let's use import secret profit. Actually, this is the quick and dirty way. So we'll do alert message for buy, text area, buy alerts. All right, so this will we'll get a text area box that'll show up over here where we can paste our information. And we're going to want to replace in there the ticker, because we won't have the actual a placeholder for the ticker. We have to make our own placeholder. So over here, when we're passing the alert message, we're going to want to, let's say, make our own tags function. This will be once per. Let's do frequency all, because we want the alert to fire each time. And so I'm creating our own method. So this is a function specific to the message that'll be called tags string message, and then we'll say we'll do a string replace on the message, so that the we'll replace ticker with our symbol. So our symbol will be here. So symbol, sim. We'll call you sim. And then here we'll replace you with that. And this, if I'm not mistaken, returns a string. Yeah. Actually, this should be fine. Tags here, is any problem? Tag string message, what's the issue here? Oh, right, I didn't pass the symbol. Okay, so what I'm doing here is that I'm going to be using, oops, not .com. So in our webhooks, I'll just use a basic signal here, enter bullish. So my buy message here, I want this to be whatever ticker I'm going to be using. Now, normally this is a placeholder that you would use if you were using a strategy. It would replace ticker with the ticker of the chart that you're on. But we need this to be replaced with whatever ticker we're dealing with from our symbols list, from our screener. So we need to replace that placeholder ourselves.
Using a replace function.
Exactly. So over here, this information that's stored here in this text array, in this text input, is over here. And then that text input, I use the function that we just wrote ourselves called tags, that allows me to replace this text inside of that message with the actual symbol for this asset. right? Now, in this particular situation, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong. Will USDT.P work on Binance for TradersPost?
No, we
No,
don't
because that's not
support
existing.
futures as an asset class for crypto exchanges. We only support spot.
Right. So when you guys are doing this, you would have to change this to, you change this to the spot list that you want. But I'm just doing it this way so you can see it working.
Correct.
And then, so that's for buy. And then we want one for sell. And there we go. Yeah. For sell. Perfect. And just for us to see what it looks like, we'll do a log of this. So this area, we'll see historically when they were buy and sell signals. We'll see what it looks like. And so as you see here in our log, the tickers were replaced with the the message were replaced with the tickers that we needed.
Right.
And that would have fired at the time. We won't be able to see one right now, but that would have fired at the time because it's the exact same message we see here in the log as we're seeing here in the alert.
Yep. Looks good.
Then we would create the alert here in, we can do the replay mode. So what we would do is create an alert here, choose our screener, and then make sure that we're choosing any alert function call. So this here is literally referring to these alerts. And then we make sure that we're sending it over to TradersPost, to our webhook. So that way when it fires, Bob's your uncle, and trades are open and close.
Yep. And with that alert function call, we're sending over the JSON message that's already been parsed, which we see in the log there. Love it. This is super elegant. I can see so many different use cases for this. Again, I think being able to quickly monitor the relationship between multiple assets or symbols at the same time, being able to create your own screener that is running that same analysis on all those symbols at the same time, and trading them all simultaneously through these alerts is a pretty cool concept. Cuts down on the number of alerts you have to manage in TradingView, that's for sure. And keeps it all kind of like in one chart, one symbol, one environment, rather than having 40 different charts, 40 different alerts for 40 different symbols.
That's right. Now, this was a bare bones version. There's all kinds of things you do have to take into consideration. So, for example, like you saw when we were doing the bar replay, because we're doing the maximum number of tickers and the information that we're pulling, we got into a memory issue because we were running through the replay and it caused memory issues. There's ways around that. There's also things you have to make sure that, let's say, for some reason, 30 tickers showed up as buy on the exact same time. Well, then you would be outside of the limit of the number of signals that can be sent from TradingView, right? You can send 15 alerts every 3 minutes. So you would have to manage it that way. You'd have to make sure that you're running this, let's say, on a higher time frame, so that you're not getting as many alerts at the same time. And then maybe one day I'll show how you can actually queue the alerts in order for them to send one by one. But that's going to be more than a more than a 1 hour video to do that.
For sure.
There's all kinds of different things you can do. But usually for this sort of thing, it's like when people are looking to trade, like some people are looking to trade the sector ETFs, right? I think there's like 10, maybe 15 of those, so those make sense. Or if you're doing just a set of commodities or gold ETFs and you want to get into those, it makes sense to do it that way too. You're not going to be burning through all those alerts. So there's shortcomings, but this is a great place to start.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's, you mentioned the sector ETFs. I think there's a really basic applicability there where you could queue up those alerts and send a signal to TradersPost to change your percentage holding of each of those sector ETFs. If you were trading all 12, for example, and holding all 12, you could send an alert. Instead of buying or selling, you could actually target a new percentage for each one too, reducing it from 10% down to 5% or from 5% back up to 10%, so on and so forth, sort of rebalancing your portfolio based on these indicators as well. So the rate limit that Tom is talking about here, if you need to send a bunch of messages at the same time, you would have to create additional logic that sends those alerts out in groups, but timed out over a period of time. You said the limit is 15 every 3 minutes? Is that right?
Correct. That's
So
right.
sector ETFs would work because you'd only have 12 alerts sent out at the same time there. But if you had anything beyond that, you would need to write a queuing system, which I know you've developed, but we're going to circle back on how that's done. That's another concept for another episode. But beyond this, I think the one other caveat to this is that because you wrote this as an indicator, this can't really be simulated in the TradingView backtester, and nor would it be even if it was a strategy, because there's too many symbols involved here. The TradingView simulator only works on one symbol at a time and can't tell you what would have happened to your equity if you were trading all of these symbols at the same time. So this is definitely one of those things where you've got to do a little additional research to make sure that what you're trading here makes sense, that trading multiple symbols at the same time makes sense. Maybe one other opportunity to expand on this is like, maybe you only want to trade, maybe you want to calculate the signal for all of those pairs in the list of 40, but you want to rank the best one according to some criteria. So maybe a follow-up to this one would be, how could we then take all of the computed results and then rank them by the strength of that signal, and then only trade one symbol that bubbles up to the top? Is that possible in your mind?
Absolutely.
Cool.
We could even do to go over the limitations of the backtester. You can just build your own mini backtester, right? You
Yeah,
can
it's
just
true.
run the
You
metrics
can,
yourself.
yeah, you could just calculate your own equity, do the walk forward analysis in terms of where the price might have changed, to simulate the process of actually holding a position. Is that kind of what you're referring to?
Exactly. You could even weight different things, so you can be like, okay, well, I know these are meme coins versus more. I always to think of crypto as stable, whatever. There's coins that are less volatile, so you
Mhm.
can weight them so that the within the indicator, so that you can have different position sizes that are sent accordingly. You can allow categorize them, so you can say, well, these I'll allow a max drawdown or failure rate of this percentage or this amount, and these I won't. There's all kinds of things you can do. You can do that way. Like really,
Yeah.
the sky's the limit.
I think that gets into some pretty advanced territory in PineScript. Maybe another way you could possibly do this is just sending over all your trade signals to TradersPost in a paper trading account where you're using crypto as your market data source. And that allows you to actually simulate these trades in a paper environment and see how it actually perform on a walk forward test. So start it for a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, let it run for a while, see how the performance unfolds. Now you've got some out of sample data you're working with. If everything looks good, then you can decide how you want to move forward from there, without the need of having this like comprehensive or really robust backtesting custom engine that you've written in PineScript.
That's right. That's like, building a Ferrari out of Tamagotchis. Like, you don't actually have to do that. Just go ahead and Trader Post is the Ferrari. Just use the Ferrari.
Yeah, we've already got the paper account for you. So
Excellent. Okay, well, that's fun. You have to understand, Mike. Like, when I'm enjoying myself and sitting down and relaxing at the end of the day, these are the sorts of things I'm doing. I'm like, hey,
these
how
are
can
your
I
pet
break the system?
projects. Yeah. I'm,
Exactly.
I'm hoping to have a little more progress on my prop firm simulator for us to cover on the next how to, because I'm just like you in my evenings on the couch with my laptop. I'm trying to tool around with this simulator to see if I can do a better job of simulating exactly how a TradingView strategy would hold up in prop firm risk environments, because it's just the rules are different than what you would find within the TradingView strategy. So one of the things I'm working on right now is this: you can run a back test, run it as deep and as far back as you can, get as many trades in the back test as possible, then export those trades, upload it to the simulator, and it will run through and tell you how that would have performed in a prop firm account, regardless of what day you started. It'll go through and run the analysis on all the days, and give you back a sort of a performance report. Would you have triggered the daily loss limits? Would you have triggered the maximum loss limits? If so, how many times? What's the frequency at which it passes eval accounts or funded accounts, and so on and so forth. So hopefully we've got something we can present there in an upcoming how-to. But if anybody has any other ideas they'd like us to explore in PineScript or in paper trading environments, or even outside of TradingView entirely, we are all ears. This stuff is fun for me and Tom.
Well, Mike, you said the word prop firm, so I don't think
Oh,
any
oh.
other ideas are going to come before people are like, I want that prop firm script immediately. Yeah, because we have that coming, and then I think in one of these blueprints we're going to be doing the options screener. And that could be
Yes.
interesting in its own right. So very, very
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. And so to clarify on that one, by option screener, we mean being able to scan the options chain for the most relevant contract if you were trading from a signal on the underlying. So I could be trading the SPY chart and I want to know what's the nearest call in the money at the nearest expiration date. And it's able to scan and confirm a valid contract name from that. Is that what we're working on?
That's right. Should be
Cool.
fun.
I'm
Ooh, so
excited.
exciting.
I've definitely got some people interested in that.
Excellent. All right, so that's it for us today. For Blueprint, tomorrow we'll see you for after hours, and as ever, we're so happy to see you.